So, geez, I mean, with that being said, I mean, now we've got our next game on the horizon, Spectral, taking on Crown and Jewels is next on the list. And, I mean, this is going to be very exciting because we've had Crown and Jewels, who started off the night, the league, let me correct myself, started off the season with an absolutely crushing set of wins over Supersonic Avengers. So the real big question is, can Spectral fight Crown and Jewels better? Like, can they actually hold them off and maybe steal a win? Because, like I said last week, they were just an offensive machine and absolutely relentless.
They really were. And this is going to be... Crown and Jewels, they haven't played since last week. So, momentum-wise, they're still 5-0 in their last 5 games. So it's going to be interesting here. If they can get another big showing, you can say, right, they're going to be there at the end of the season. And to get that so early in the first 2 weeks is going to be so good for them. But they've got to do the work here. And Spectral, if they showed us anything against Flipside last week, they don't go down without a fight.
No, they definitely won't. I mean, Spectral, I know they're going to come into this tooth and nail. Remco has had a brilliant week himself, as well as Mystic. Both Mystic and Remco have had a fantastic week of games between the ESL Monthly Final, Gfinity on Friday. I mean, they were looking completely standout. And in fact, this is a rematch of the ESL Monthly Final, where Crown and Jewels would get the best of 7 edge 4-3.
They did play. Oh, I'm talking about.
They did.
There was a monthly final.
Yeah, they managed to scoop that out, and that went a full 7 games between these teams. So, this is a big potential showing for Spectral to come in here. They could take 3. If this were, if it were a best of 7 or best of 5, I think on the finals, it would have tilted in favor of Spectral. But I think they could do it. They're gonna. I feel like they're definitely gonna give Crown and Jewels their first loss here.
Yes, I would be shocked if they don't. Spectral are a really good team. Mystic is a fantastic player that I really love to watch. TJ Shorty and Remco are players that have played together for a long time. So, yeah, it's a solid squad that they've got.
It is. They made the change about, I think it was earlier last week, before the Pro League, where they replaced Dakini with Mystic. And, they came in looking very strong. Now they've had another full week to play together as a cohesive unit. And they've got a big challenge with Crown and Jewels, who are one of the only 2 undefeated teams in the RLC Pro League thus far.
How long is that going to last, though?
I don't think they're going to make it out of today's match. I could be wrong. I thought the same thing out of their series against Supersonic Avengers. And I was well proven wrong.
Yes.
So there is definitely a potential here for them to come in very strong and close it out again. But if they can have the same kind of goal precision, the same kind of just, attack that they had in that last week, then they're going to be in a very good place. But speaking of which, no delaying here.
We go.
We go now. That is what this game is like. But let's see. Can Crown and Jewels get in before the clock starts? They will. Which means Spectral, Crown and Jewels. Here we go. In game 1 of this 5-game series. Once again, if you're just tuning in, Remco, if you're just tuning in, Remco is kind of ridiculous.
Yes, if you're just tuning in, Remco says hi. He's waving his hand, and he's going to give you a high five later. Just ask him.
Beautiful threading of the needle just to feed that between the defenders, puts that ball away, opens up the scoring in 7 seconds. So that whole thing we were talking about, how Crown and Jewels could be a team that could remain undefeated. I don't think Spectral wants that. I don't think they're willing to let that happen.
I didn't speak to them earlier, but even then they still told me they don't want to lose all 5 games.
I think that's a fair assumption by, I guess, any team. Do you want to lose all 5 games? I'm pretty sure they'll all say no. But at least if somebody does say yes, then it's time for a roster change. You don't want anybody on your roster who's like, yeah, I think we should. It'd be good for momentum.
Be
comeback story. Yeah, they want to do the comeback story. But in any event, like I was trying to say, if you're just tuning in, you are watching the RLC Pro League. This is week 2 of our regular season. Both of these teams and every game you're going to see today are going to be playing best of 5 sets. Or not, oh jeez, I'm already making bad statements.
Don't worry, Sicky's covering for you.
Sicky, distract me. Distract the crowd. Ignore them from what I said. We're watching series of 5 sets, and let's just watch Sicky's carry this in. Sorry, just Sicky now. As he puts that away.
It was an open goal for him. Nothing special on that one, but that is why you do not commit free forward to offense that does not score.
Yeah, it is tricky. And that paid off very well for Crown and Jewels getting the tying goal. Anyway, this is a series of 5 games, which means you will see all 5 games. The set could end 5-0, 4-1, or 3-2. Doesn't matter. You're still going to get all the games. And the wins and losses and the head-to-head results will impact how these teams can qualify for the playoffs. Yeah, big demo there. Key on that play. Now, let us see if Spectral can try and get back into this. Good play off the wall. Mystic's going to try and set up Shorty, but they do fight him the entire way down. Now Pashy playing it back the other direction. Ball gets set up. It's already tied now. Mystic's going to carry this around the corner. Tries to play it up high, but can't get it past Sicky. TJ Shorty, though, good awareness on his part. Has to follow this shot up from Yeezy. They're just fighting with it, tooth and nail in that corner.
Yeah, I'm loving this so far from all the teams we've casted. Everyone knows every game is important. There isn't a warm-up period. It is just play.
Oh, yeah, big shot on net that TJ Shorty has to cut off. Now he's going to move into an offensive position, tries to play it high, but it gets cut off at the pass there. Now Yeezy playing it forward. Good play off the wall by Sicky. Oh, but the cutoff!
He's going to have it!
Mystic. Brilliant play here. He cuts off this pass attempt off the wall here. Reads it beautifully, and because they were all forward, nobody could get back to that in time.
Yeah, that is going to be one of the issues that come across from Crown and Jewel's smash and grab style. They love to just send people in waves, but when the wave's a bit too close, Mystic can just surf over it.
If he can. Speaking of Mystic, defensively, he's been a little hit or miss in some of the games I've seen him play, and just there he manages to barely get underneath that ball. But offensively, he is looking really good. Shot just breaks a bit high. But it looks like TJ Shorty's not going to be able to stop that, so we're going all the way back down. Set up for Pashy. No, and Yeezy tries to come in to help that along. But nothing on point. Sicky now putting it on. Remco with a good clear to the far side. You can see, though, Crown and Jewels with nice awareness to be already in that position. And Sicky tries to put it on, and TJ Shorty denies it.
Yeah, I think from that range, you're really going to have to be lucky to get a shot in from there.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, sometimes it can happen. You get the right angle, the right bounce. The defense maybe just doesn't have enough boost. And oh, Pashy now harnessing that 1v1 skill. Tries to carry it all the way forward.
That is really the sort of danger that a player like Pashy brings, though. Even if he doesn't manage to take it past everyone, he's still going to beat 1, maybe even 2, or even 3 players.
Yeah, and he very well
everyone out of position.
Yeah, we have seen that quite a bit from Pashy, where every now and then he'll tap into that, you know, excellent 1v1 ability that he has. Oh, and look at that!
He's got an aerial ability as well.
He does, and you could track this the whole way. We were following him on that shot, so you saw the whole thing unfold. Just puts the little downward bounce on it, manages to get it to bounce off the goal line, through the defense off a little bit, and up it goes. So the tying goal here, Crown and Jewels still in this game. They are not out of this thing yet.
No,
but
not
Spectral
imagination. This has been another close game. I don't think there's been a game, apart from Game 4 of the Flipside series, that hasn't been close.
Yeah, that has been that was certainly the biggest blowout here. But I will say this is kind of how the series against Supersonic Avengers started last week, where the first few games were very close. The scoring was really tight, but Supersonic Avengers just couldn't finish the job, and Crown and Jewels would get the tilt there. So the potential for the same kind of result is here, depending on how Spectral reacts. Let's assume they go down 3-0 in this set. You know, if that happens, will Spectral just fall into a funk and let the other 2 games fall off their hood too? Or can they come back and compete?
I doubt they'll go into a funk. These are some very mentally strong players that will always give it their own. They know every single game is important. I think they treat it in every game, like take it game by game, not series by series.
Yeah, and it's especially important here. Even if you lose the head-to-head, just getting 1 or 2 wins can really help in the overall picture.
That's gone off the backboard. I'm scared of that backboard. After the amount of goals that got scored in Gfinity off the backboard, that is just a place where danger lies.
Yeah, either the backboard or that little bezel in the corner. That's where it takes the best bounces and the most entertaining plays get set up from there. So here we are, 0-second time. Crown and Jewels on the attack. I don't know if they're going to be able to turn this around, and it looks like it will hit the ball. We did, and here we are. Overtime, 2-2, as if you needed more overtime games. Well, you might just call this the RLC Overtime League. Because we got a lot. No, a big opportunity for Spectral, but nobody could be there to get the finish. That was a wide open net.
Oh my god, that's going to go in!
Pashy!
I can't believe Pashy's got that!
Pashy like a sniper on this shot. Comes in and just drills it towards that upper corner. TJ Shorty just couldn't get the right position underneath it. And Crown and Jewels, as we said, opens things up here.
Let's put it like this. Getting power on those shots is hard. Getting positioning on those shots is hard. Getting the ability to place those shots is hard. Doing that whole skill together is special.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say sometimes, because it is just unreal here. That sometimes they just get those little moments. They pick apart things, and you see it from Crown and Jewels especially.
Well, that was going to be the important part, because it was, like you said, it was a close game, but so were the games against the Avengers last week. Maybe, just maybe, you know, Crown and Jewels have just got that little something extra in these overtimes.
Maybe so, whether it's overtime or just the game in general. You know, maybe they've got just enough to, you know, show off here. And that's something that Crown and Jewels is going to try to rely on throughout this set.
That is how you respond.
Remco again. I mean, he apparently has a flair for getting his name spoken during the very first few seconds of these games, because a beautiful shot off the wall goes dead center into the goal. Only 5 seconds this time, so a faster bit of performance for Remco here.
Yeah, if this is a show, Remco is certainly the opening act.
Definitely so, but Crown and Jewels, they want to take the stage. And look at Yeezy. He's going to track this. The play forward here gets beaten to it. They did that little flip defensively that may have just taken them off the ball enough for Yeezy to react to it. This is just outstanding stuff.
2 goals in 11 seconds. That is how you say hello to Game 2.
It is definitely. I mean, you're looking at a pair of teams that are clearly going to be very competitive, at least through this first set of games. And like I said, the statement here is going to be whichever team manages to get the tilt. If it is Crown and Jewels and they keep their undefeated streak alive, how does Spectral react in those final few games? So that is the difficult task at hand. Now Remco tries to play that ball towards center. Good cutoff at midfield, keeping the ball in.
Shorty.
Yep. Oh, and another long-distance shot by Sikizem. Putting it up far, Yeezy. Fighting it off, sends it to Pashy on that far wall. Mystic misses that. Pashy tried to retain a little bit of that dribbling control, and going for distance, Remco comes through with the clear. Now playing it forward. Yeezy says, no thanks.
Oh, that could go in. Oh, Shorty. Shorty just showing up at times here. Whenever his team need him defensively, he's like, yes, I'm here, guys. I can do it.
Yeah, TJ Shorty, definitely the defensive master for this team. Kind of holds that goal very well, and Mystic and Remco put together really nice offensive pressure, as we've seen throughout their games, not only in the Pro League, but just in general.
Interesting part of Crown and Jewels' offense. Whenever they get someone to try and go for these long clearances, they've got someone already set up. They're looking for that redirect or just to punch it downwards for another hit.
Yeah, it's good game control. They're keeping control of the pace. They're dictating how they want this game to go, the plays they want to set up. Oh, and a nice setup for Spectral. Oh, and Mystic can't quite get the angle he needs, or the pressure he needs to get past defense. Easy cuts it off. Ball's going to float up. Pashy has to come in and fight that aside.
That's still dangerous.
Yeah, Remco puts it close to point, but it's going to bounce just far left. But you can see Spectral still on the attack here.
Yeah, but they haven't got anything too dangerous in so far.
Yep, not yet. Oh, this is a big opportunity. Sicky's going to play that in, but TJ Shorty still in net, cuts that off. Yeezy following it up, but Remco, good rotation play. Knew that TJ Shorty had committed to the attack. Pashy, very good clear. Oh, and a wide open net, but it hits the post.
That would have been so nice.
Oh, the post is a dangerous beast. And here's a big arcing shot going towards a wide open net, hits the backboard. And Sicky's going to park it to the wall.
It is the game of close.
It is indeed. Good play forward by Sicky, now trying to set up for somebody, but none of his teammates were in a position to react to that quite yet. Mystic plays to center, and that's a risky position. Fortunately, Remco was back. Now he's going to try to play that forward. Clash at midfield. Mystic stops it all, but Shorty.
It's a little bit of luck, but you'll take it.
Mystic just, or I should say Shorty just out of position here. Gets that angle. Yeah, I don't even know how you'd react to that. I mean, that ball was going in a completely different direction, then just takes this unusual little bounce because of the clash there in front of the goal. And just opened up the gate, so Crown and Jewels getting a good go-ahead. Spectral has to do their part to try and get back in this series. You know, these close games, they can take a lot out of you if you put up a really good fight but still end up losing. And I think that's why it tilted so heavily for Supersonic Avengers and could really happen to any team.
Crown and Jewels just looking so good with their team play so far. Barely any mechanical or tactical mistakes. It's going to be so hard for Spectral to find a gap.
It is, and that was a very good demo play from them as well. They couldn't take advantage of it, however, and another slow shot.
3 passes!
Oh.
And Sicky's got another one. Look at that, Sicky over to Yeezy, flicks it up, and Sicky's there again for the hit. No one there from Spectral covering the goal, but how are you supposed to when you're getting the ball just circling around you?
I mean, I don't even know. That's why that pass play comes into effect. Is, you know, every angle is being taken advantage of by Crown and Jewels, and they're cutting off your chances to react defensively. And now only 1 minute to go in a big 2-goal deficit that just extended into a 3-goal deficit. Crown and Jewels now. Whatever they had in Game 1 that caused that game to be close appears to have gone away here in Game 2 because Sicky is looking like an offensive machine thus far.
Yeah, and the old Swarm team, which is very reminiscent of this, has got a lot of the same players. Used to have something called the bleeding effect, where they took the first game quite closely, but for the rest of it, they'd find gaps, and it looks like they're doing that now. That download might have been completed.
Maybe so. I mean, this is an incredible shot. I got to see exactly how Pashy makes this. Just completely rotates his car to cut off that clear from the wall, directs it in, and it is well out of hand for these two teams.
It's going to be interesting now as the series goes along. You said it earlier, how are Spectral going to react? Because they've got another 3 games of this to go, and they've got to be able to take each of these games on as individuals.
They do. And I mean, their biggest problem now is they just have to be able to squeeze something out of this series. If they end up having another game that goes in favor of Crown and Jewels, then, you know, if we get a team here in the Pro League that starts off 10-0, that is going to be ridiculous, and Crown and Jewels is looking clearly like the team to beat here in the Pro League.
Oh, that is a
gorgeous goal. It's not going to be enough to win the game, but it is going to be enough to get back some of that mental game. Look at that backflip, though. Beautifully done. 5-2, though, in favor of Crown and Jewels. So we'll see the final few seconds wind off here. Clearly going to go in favor of this undefeated squad.
Yeah, but that is going to take them to 7-0 now for this entire series, this entire season. I mean, I would say, can you ask for a better start? But it's not actually possible to have one.
Yeah, I mean, they're going as good as it gets. You know, you want a good start, you're going to get it because it's what we're seeing here.
Now here's the interesting part, and it's the next map. We saw Noble take the first 2 games last time. Now, and it changed. It all changed as soon as both Marky came in, but the other thing that changed was it was this map.
Yeah, this is the tilt factor.
I mean,
They
literally,
think
it's
they
got
can
tilty sides.
It does, yeah. So the literal tilt factor sometimes too. But as it stands right now, let's see what happens here on Wasteland. As Crown and Jewels and Spectral. Crown and Jewels would love to keep this going. Take every single game. That's the name of the game.
Yep. It's, I don't think this map's going to affect them too much anyway. It's very small changes. And a lot of their players are going to be used to it. They played the old game. Wasteland's not entirely too different.
That's true. But, you know, sometimes from a approach standpoint or an attack standpoint, just this little bit of a change can be a good change for the team who's down. Or it could end up being a good change for the team who's up. You never really know, just based off of how things are going. And as it stands right now...
time, it's looking good for Spectral.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to say that. As it stands, the attack has just been relentless by Spectral, and Mystic puts the exclamation point on it. Gets it past Pashy, and 1-0 now to start things off.
Unfortunately, it's that 1-0. There's still 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go.
There is.
A lot of Rocket League to still be played.
Yeah, early goals.
Pashy can play some Rocket League.
Indeed he can. Just as I'm about to say, early goals have happened for Spectral in the last 2 games, but you got to keep it going. And right now, Crown and Jewels, they're ready to start scoring. So it is looking a little bit chancy for these teams. So we'll have to see if Crown and Jewels can continue their momentum, or if Spectral maybe has figured something out. Oh, gorgeous! What a gorgeous play here.
They really need to get it going soon.
Look at this play.
That is 2 quick goals.
Not only quick, but it was just fully in the control of Crown and Jewels that whole time. Pashy carrying it along the wall, lets it drop in front of the net for Yeezy. I mean, those are some of those goals that are as good as it gets here in Rocket League, where you see just that fine element of teamwork and play control and game control that really pays off. And Crown and Jewels in a very good spot right now.
Oh, Spectral, they're looking a little bit off here.
Every angle.
That's poor defense.
Every angle being covered here. Look at the coverage. I'm going to go to an aerial cam. Look at the coverage that Crown and Jewels had. Pashy cuts off that clear lane. Knew that it could go that way. They had other teammates in a better position to cut it all out. And man...
Sure, he shouldn't have hit that, though. He should have left it to his teammate, who could have tried to play it on the sidewall, instead of just bouncing it straight into the middle of his own area.
Oh
my God.
What?
Is, from what we were touting as a possible comeback for Spectral, maybe a change of luck. Crown and Jewels, they don't believe in luck.
No, that's, you don't need luck when you're that good. And Yeezy, beautiful reaction there, just floats that in, and, oh, it is not looking good.
The kickoff as well. Every single time the kickoff happens, Spectral are just on the defense immediately, and Crown and Jewels, they've got people there who can react.
They do, and I mean, you're seeing it all throughout this game so far. Just every single play forward by Crown and Jewels is calculated. Like, we're not seeing a lot of these really high-risk, just let's fling the ball forward sort of things. They know what they're doing. Like, there's a lot of just very smart, calculated approaches to these plays, and it's paying off. It's paying off big time. And Spectral now, they got that one little early goal. Now Remco tries to play it forward. It's a good opening here. Oh, but nobody could get to it first except for Crown and Jewels, so not the opening that Spectral wanted. Now Sikizem going to try to play it in. He's going to carry that corner, those very broad corners.
Yeah, and Crown and Jewels have done such a great job of playing the map as well. One of the earlier goals they got, Pashy literally dribbled it in that corner, which you can only really do on this map, because the bobbly walls of the regular maps you can't dribble on. You're just going to fling the ball away from your car, and you're going to have to try and jump an aerial towards it. This map, you can dribble it as much as you want.
Oh yeah, it gives you a lot of space to do a lot of creative plays too. And I talked about this one of the first times we had seen a game on Wasteland, but it also adds some effectiveness to clears in terms of time management.
And that's going to be 5. That is going to be 5.
That's definitely going to be 5. Every single player for Crown and Jewels was in front of Spectral there.
I mean, I think we can now say the bleed effect is fully in form.
Oh, it's a gusher. That's all I say. It is. They're going to need surgeon stat to stitch this one up, because it is not looking pretty here. But Crown and Jewels, my goodness. I mean, this is quality play all around. It doesn't even, like... It doesn't even have to have the same kind of flash and pizzazz that you might get out of Flipside Tactics or other teams. It's just solid. Every play is solid. Every play forward.
It's impossible for me to say they're playing perfect, but they're playing really close to it. There is very little that they're doing wrong right now, and very little for Spectral to really take advantage of.
Oh, it doesn't go in.
Alright, I found something to knock against them. The fact that that didn't go in.
There we go. So there's something.
Hey!
Granted, it's happened at the point where they're ahead 5-1, so the effectiveness of that not quite as important, but still. I mean, even though, you know, you don't have to play a perfect game to beat a lot of these teams. I don't even think you have to play a perfect game to beat any team. You just have to play the right kind of game, and that's what Crown and Jewels has done all throughout Pro League, is they've managed to play the exact sort of game to beat their opponents. And that's what we're seeing so far, so a heavily tilted game here in favor of Crown and Jewels. Looks like it's very likely going to go in their favor. We're still down to about a minute to play. Is it impossible? No. I mean, very improbable.
But will it? No.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, not at the rate we've been seeing out of Spectral so far.
Oh,
but
maybe,
it's a good start.
Maybe.
It's a good start. TJ Shorty trying to close this gap. Only 40 seconds to go. He's going to play it off the wall. There's your wall shot. Every defender can't get to it. Leaves the gate wide open.
The thing is when it comes off that wall, you have to guess. And you have to use whatever experience you've had previously to guess where that's going. Unfortunately, that wall is not something you play with all the time. That has got a little bit more of an angle to it than everything else.
It does. I mean, that's something that it's really hard to calculate on this pitch. You know, you don't know exactly where everything's going to go. And, oh, come on. Pashy looking ridiculous here. I
mean, this has just been a great performance. We thought Wasteland might be something to change the tide of this. It's not. It's not. There's going to have to be something bigger to change. The only thing I can really put against Crown and Jewels right so far is sometimes they commit two people to the same shot. That's it.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there is certainly on their part. Even on that last shot, I think it was Siki who ran into Pashy on that. But it still worked out. So Pashy basically set up his own shot. And look at this play off the wall. Oh!
Everyone where they need to be.
Everybody got a part of this one. You're going to see it. Siki is going to set this off the wall. Pashy puts it forward. And Yeezy with the big finish. Every player. Every single player had a part of that. Well,
these have been really good from Crown and Jewels, but I am now going to turn my attention over the next couple of games over to... We're now going to be asking more questions of Spectral. What is their response going to be as of now? They can't win the head-to-head, but have they still got the morale of themselves? Are they still going to be communicating enough and not be down enough to say, right, we can still get one of these next two. Let's still go at this with as much as we have.
Yeah, and I think that's... sorry for that. There we go. I do think that's, a big factor here for sure. It is really going to come down to... They haven't been showing it lately. Let's just put it that way. They have not given the appropriate attitude to this series that I think is required.
Game 1 was pretty good. I will hand Game 1 to them. They really brought it. But,
oh yeah, Game 1 was fantastic, and then it just started to get away from them a lot quicker than it really should have, to be honest. And it's not going to be easy for this team.
It isn't, but they need to put something on the board.
Not only that, like. They get the early goals. Like, opening goal seems to go in favor of Spectral. It's happened the last 3 games. But they need to be consistent. And just this team game.
Consistent against team play like that?
I don't even know. I don't even know what you do against this.
Pashy to Yeezy to Siki to Pashy.
Just everybody to everybody else. They are such a cohesive unit here.
Really
and that's what's causing this.
It's a team that's been playing together for a while now, and When this team first they've done it again. I can't even finish my thought before Pashi comes in and scores his second goal of the game.
Yeezy wins the faceoff, sets that ball up high, and Pashi reads it perfectly. Just drills it home. That is a problem when you leave the gate open on those kickoffs, because sometimes just some teams can react very swiftly. I do think that...
Going back to my thought earlier, this was a team that when they first formed, the amount that they dropped in power rankings was very notable.
Oh,
they
yeah.
Lost a ton, but time and the fact that they stuck together has really proven worthwhile.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they figured out whatever their problem was that was causing them to have such issues. And it has paid off in spades, because now they are a very dangerous team. So Pashi now going to get that pinch, sends the ball downfield. Not exactly where you want it to be. Sticky with a good cutoff there, tries to set it up for Yeezy, but it is going to get turned back around. Spectral could try to get up on the board here. Everybody commits to it, so the ball goes too high. And unfortunately, they cannot turn that into any kind of offensive play. But here comes Remco. He's going to try and float that over. Nope. Doesn't work, though.
It's very hard to get that sort of stuff because he was only really had one option available to him, so it was very easy to read. But Spectral, they're looking a bit better now over this last half minute. Some offense, finally. And that is the best type of offense.
Very nice goal out of Mystic. He's going to catch this ball as it gets set up very high. And look at him just find this little gap in the far corner there. Unfortunately, the camera does get a bit lost on replay sometimes. But
he made a bit of a mistake on that wall as well. And that is what opened up that gap.
Yeah, they figured that part out. But they are still one goal down here. And if Crown and Jewels gets back into their usual form, then it could make for a difficult Game 4 scenario.
Oh, I'm liking this from Spectral now. They look alive.
They do, and this is the time to do it. You know, the games against Supersonic Avengers when they were down 3-0 were very lopsided. Maybe they got those lopsided games out of the way early. And maybe Spectral can turn this around, manage to take a game. If they can be the team, I mean, we could potentially have a situation where if Crown and Jewels takes this entire set, then we're going to be wondering who's going to be that team. Like, who will be the team that takes a game off of Crown and Jewels, and who can actually beat them?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it right now. Spectral, they're doing good. They're making this game closer, but a lot of teams have got close games against Crown and Jewels. It's to finish it off, which is going to be the hard part.
You've got to carry it the entire 5 minutes plus. Whatever overtime you get, whatever 0-second time you get, you have to own all of it.
They got a chance here.
Oh, and it just goes wide off the post. But it's still in.
A bit much of Remco.
Still in. Pashi makes a big save. And they're trying to turn it around, though. But the pressure is looking very good for Spectral. They are putting a lot of quality shots together. But if that team play gets turned back on, and almost.
Zicky was going for the negative angle.
Good little floating shot there. If it had a little more heat behind it, he might have been able to beat Pashi to the punch, but he couldn't quite do it. So go on board with Remco now, who has to fall back defensively. Oh, almost a redirect by Pashi. Fortunately, I think Remco was actually in a good spot to contest that. Ball's going to get played up high, and bit of a whiff on that clear attempt. Try and send it back downfield. So Mystic puts it to the far corner. Good clear all the way across the field.
Yeah, you'll notice that a lot of times, whenever Crown and Jewels clear, they always clear it into that corner because it's so hard to play offensively from there.
Yeah, it's the smartest place to put it. If you can't put it in your opponent's corner to set up some kind of offensive attack, put it in your own corner. It slows things down. It forces your opponent, even if they are still going to be on the attack, to have to recalculate what they do. But small problem. They are running out of time right now on the part of Spectral.
Yeah, but there's the time bomb has begun.
And I know it's still a lot of time. Oh!
TJ Short, almost a master diffuser.
Right. Coming in with the clutch wire snip, but it does get denied, so he still has to dig around and find a way to figure this out. 30 seconds now. Oh, Remco!
Life is still there for Spectral. They only need one more, and they can put their first game of this series in and break the Crown and Jewel streak. But here's the hard part. Finishing it.
Yep. This is the problem that every team has had thus far. Every game, they get close. They get very close. But then something clicks. Something clicks.
The most beautiful thing I've seen in a while. And I
almost heard it
myself every day.
I almost heard it, the clicking sound, but it didn't quite go off. We could be headed to overtime here. Maybe that's a caster curse right there. I don't know. That's why I said maybe. Usually if I'm more definitive, it's indicative. Oh, and there's a floating shot! Shorty! Big save there, and we are going to another overtime game. 2-2. Oh, boy. Here we go again.
I'm so happy to see this, though. Spectral, we were a bit worried. Are they still going to put their all into this? Nah, they're not going to go down without a fight.
Oh, and speaking of fight, that was a near goal there that Yeezy got in front of. Crown and Jewels, I know they desperately want to hold on to their undefeated streak.
Sure, he had to get the touch on that as well, but that's...
Oh, Pashy!
Pashy,
What?
Nighty
What do you do?
just cut the comeback off.
What do you do? I mean, look at this angle past everybody. And Crown and Jewels continues their winning ways.
I actually feel bad for Spectral. They came out fighting, they showed us their worth, but they still couldn't break the streak.
I mean, they've
Go
got
ahead.
one more chance.
Dude, and they're getting closer now.
It is, but it's getting, it's getting a little harder here because, we talked about the morale and momentum and all that good stuff, and when you come this close, when you fight back to a point where you get so close and you still can't do it, I think that's an even bigger hit than a big, lopsided loss.
The fact that Crown and Jewels play the way they do in the clutch is so important, and one of the big reasons why they get the wins they do. Because a lot of teams will start playing with only one offensively and keep two back. Because next goal wins it. But
Yeah.
Pashy is still up there. He's sat there, he's waiting for it. And because they've got the mechanics they have, they can read the game so well that not only are they in the area that they need to be in, but they're in the exact spot they need to be in to take a shot immediately.
It's just quality awareness on their part, and I mean that's the thing that they do very well. Is just know what they're doing, and that doesn't sound like much. Obviously you got to know what you're doing, but no, Crown and Jewels, they know what they're doing. Yeah,
That's the momentum breaker. That's the heartbreaker. That sort of save.
everything is coming together like that, and oh look, floating shot, but TJ Shorty cuts that one off. Now play distant shot here. And Spectral having to fall back defensively because Crown and Jewels on the attack. A little bit of a setup here. Oh, and it takes this little bounce right underneath the
It wasn't
attacker.
a great touch from Mystic, but it was a touch nonetheless, and that's all he needed.
Yeah, it was a good enough. It got it underneath the attacker, so he couldn't get the redirect in. Sorry, we're jumping around here. The camera's giving me a little bit of trouble. Anyway,
Fine, people
right.
are paying attention now.
they are indeed. Big shot gets denied by Yeezy. And now we're going to have to turn this around again. Oh, but a good turn aside. High floating shot. Pashy puts it into the far corner. Solid defensive play. That's all you can really say about it. Oh, we're seeing it.
Bit of a slower game.
Yeah, but you could feel it there, right? You could see that little play starting to form, and they just managed to cut it off. Big distance shot. Pashy cuts it off at the corner now, setting it off along the wall. TJ Shorty keeps it in. Yeezy, again, cutting that off. He has been solid on defense for Crown and Jewels throughout the Pro League. But also good as a playmaker. Nice setup off the wall. But Mystic comes in there. Ooh, that's a risky clear, but it does fortunately get cleared out by Spectral. At least for his sake.
Yeah, man, I think this might work out quite well for Spectral as well. The fact this is a slower game gives them more chance to set up those long arcing shots and get the rebound, which they do so effectively. Although interceptions like that.
Big opportunity here. Sideswipe, and Sicky puts it away. That play was coming together right here. Yeezy stops that from happening. You're going to see Pashy. Nice little play forward, and Siki gets a great finish there. Just solid teamwork. That's all it's been.
Spectral now got... They need to pick up this one win. They can't get 5-0'd in this series. That will hurt them so much further down the line. So...
Oh, it will. Yeah.
You know, as good as Crown and Jewels are, you still look at yourself and just go, well, we should have won one. We're on the same level as them. We should have got at least one. Unfortunately, it's looking like it could be difficult.
Yeah, it's looking very difficult here. You're going to see that ball get set up, and Pashy just puts it in the upper corner. Nobody back defensively to stop it. It's starting to look a little too easy for Crown and Jewels, and that's not the kind of result you want to see here in Game 5. But, oh, TJ Shorty had a beautiful shot on net that Yeezy just managed to cut off. And again, all these little things have to be affecting morale.
Yeah, I mean, how do you find a way through? Every time they think they've got one, they just keep getting caught out by this pressure. And they almost did it again. That was almost the second time. Very similar to the first goal conceded.
I mean, just look at what they're doing. They're just taking their time. They're controlling the ball. It's almost like watching the Harlem Globetrotters play. They're just, you know, dancing around their opponents and doing whatever they want. But Spectral trying to get back into this. I don't know if they're going to be able to, though. I'm just not seeing the elements that are telling me that they're going to be able to really compete here against Crown and Jewels in this particular game.
I mean, they've forced some really good plays so far, but Crown and Jewels don't really ever look like they're breaking a sweat defensively. Apart from that one, quite frankly, sublime save.
Yeah, there was the one there, that really precise shot from TJ Shorty. Now you can see Spectral. They're trying to slow it down. He's giving his teammates some time to get back into the game, but Crown and Jewels doesn't want them to control the pace. They want to own the pace of this game. They want to own every element of this game. And so far, minute to go, 2-goal differential. I mean, that could be it. That could be all it takes.
It really could. 1 minute to score 2 goals is so difficult, especially in games like this. You've got to beat 3 players, although passes like that might just make it. But Spectral, I don't think they even expect their passes to make it through.
No, and you know, sometimes you... Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Just... I mean... A misplay there by TJ Shorty. He tries to put it back in the corner, but Yeezy was already up there. And just no contest. No contest at all on that. And that effectively guarantees another 5-0 win for Crown and Jewels. What do you do? Like, who stops this team?
I don't know. I mean you could have turned around last week and said it was a fluke. Now you've got to turn around after this week and say, wow, it's real.
Yeah, there is no fluke here. But they do have a match against Flipside Tactics next week. We know that's coming. That was supposed to be this week's match, but due to other scheduling issues, we had to shuffle things around and kind of flip the weeks 2 and 3 EU schedule. And TJ Shorty tries to get on there. And not only is Crown and Jewels going to take this series, but they're going to take this final game
5-0.
3-0.
I mean, really?
What do you do, man? What do you do against this team?
I mean, Spectral, they had a couple of bad games in there, but it wasn't all bad. And they had 2 games in there where they really could have pushed for the win. They just... It looks like it's really hard to do because teams, whenever they get into close games towards the end of a match, go very defensive. Crown and Jewels don't. They stick to what they know works. They'll stick to what they would have been doing if the game was equal with 3 minutes left. And I feel like that is what separates them right now.
It is. I mean, they have this impeccable team game. And, you know, when I always talk about the team game in Rocket League, and one team that always stands out to me and always has is Cosmic. But we're starting to see this new team game emerge from Crown and Jewels that is not only really on point, but it's so hard to stop. Because you don't know who exactly is going to be the one responsible for any piece of that puzzle, which is a little bit of that flip side element too. You combine the 3 forward aggression of Flipside or the 3 forward presence versus the team game of Cosmic, and you put that in one team, I mean, that might be a little bit bold of a statement to say for Crown and Jewels, but I don't know. It's looking mighty impressive for these two teams right now. So let's...
Cosmic are going to have their work cut out later as well, because they're not going to want to be the only team that hasn't... they don't want to lose the fact that they're now giving up 10-0 to Crown and Jewels.
Crown and Jewels is standing to be possibly that only undefeated team in the league, because Cosmic, they play the last game tonight, and trying to beat Not 5-0, that is not easy. So we've got one more game here on the EU side, and let's discuss it a little bit here, because it's worth talking about.
I like discussions.
Yeah, it's good times. So here we go. Let's get it up on the board here. SK game.